Kevin, and welcome to my podcast, Finding My Freedom, where I talk about my story, how I grew up and became a musician, how I quit and then started back up again. But in this process, something happened, something clicked, and I started to really resonate with things that were more spiritual, more on the new agey side of things, a little more esoteric than what I used to. A lot of stuff that I was interested in as a kid, but really never, ever would talk about it. First of all, I didn't want people to think I was, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. So I just basically tried to live my life, follow my musical passion, and get somewhere with it. But in the last 2.5 years, I've realized that there's been a lot of gifts, a lot of things in my life that I have turned off. Mainly because of conformity. Mainly because I didn't want people to think I was crazy. But it didn't matter how much I tried to fit in, how normal I thought I was doing, I was still just a little bit quirky, I guess you could call it. Maybe a little eccentric. I definitely marched to the beat of my own drummer. And this podcast has been a big liberator for me to be able to talk about just anything I want to talk about, anything I have interest in. It's also a place where I am telling my story in as much detail as I possibly can, in the hopes that, maybe somebody will get a benefit from it, that maybe somebody somewhere will not feel like they're all by themselves. Plus, it's been healing in tremendous ways for me. I can't even tell you how much more free I feel, how much more confident I feel, how much more me I feel like just by telling my story. Now, don't get me wrong, I am not done, by no means. I am not fixed. It's an ongoing process that's going to take years and years, and it'll take the rest of my life. But I must say that I feel like I've grown more in the last 3 years than I had in the last 45 years. And I'm 49, so. Now, with all that being said, I was meditating the other day, and the idea hit me. Why don't I talk about what is a starseed? What do you guys think a starseed is? Do you guys think it's a bunch of hooey? Or do you think it's a real thing? Because I'll be honest with you, if you would have told me this 10 years ago, I would have said, it's a bunch of crap. To be honest with you. I would have said, no, it's just people wanting to be special for no reason. People wanting to say, that they're put here for a special reason and, don't want to go to work. That was the old me. Now I believe in something that has to do with it. I'm not saying that everybody who claims that they are, or everybody who wants to be one is one. I'm not saying any of that, but I will tell you my story of how I started resonating with a small group called the Blu-Rays. They're not even really considered starseeds. They're more considered a soul group, I guess. A starseed is an old soul with deep spiritual wisdom that's been lying dormant. Having arrived from other solar systems and star constellations, they've had many incarnations in other star systems, incarnating on Earth at various times. The children of these starseeds, the indigo, crystal, and rainbow, have incarnated fewer times. They are also starseeds, but not necessarily new souls. They've typically had just not been on Earth as many times. At some point, the starseeds choose to incarnate on Earth to share their light, knowledge, and participate in the planet's evolution to fulfill a divine mission and bring positive change to the world. Now that was I just did a quick Google from an article called Signs You're a Starseed. So do you believe, or do you think it's a bunch of crap? Please leave a comment below, positive or negative, whatever you want to do. It's all good, man. So these are a few of the different types of starseeds. Now, I didn't really resonate with any of them, one, like, in a very big kind of way. Like, I was curious about it, though. Like, I thought, wow, that's a really interesting concept that, you know, if you believe in past lives, then you've been to the earth over and over and over again to learn these lessons. Well, why wouldn't you go to other places too? You know, why would it just be earth over and over and over again? You know, so the concept didn't fly over my head necessarily. I just didn't really resonate with all the types until one type I finally ran across it. And it was actually very mind-blowing at the time. And they're called the Blu-Ray Starseeds. Because, you know, everything you read about or hear about or anything that anybody talks about on YouTube, they're like the indigo children, the rainbow children, you know. And it's like, okay, well, there had to have been people here that were before the millennials. You know what I mean? Like, there had to have been, it didn't start with the freaking millennials. There's no way it could have, you know? So then I started reading about this small group called the Blu-Ray Soul Group. And these are some of the older starseeds. Some of the first, well, I don't know if you consider them the first. Well, Dolores Cannon would consider them the first, you know, or one of the first anyway. So I come across this stuff and things really started resonating. I mean, my intuition was going crazy when I was talking about this stuff. Literally, the hairs on the back of my neck would stand up. I couldn't get past all the knowledge that I was receiving at the time. I also was seeing flashes of things that was like, you know, just part of how my brain works. You know what I mean? And all this was going on, and I'm like, whoa, wow, might just be something to this. So here's some of the Blu-ray Starseed signs. Some of the stuff that I really resonated with. The Blu-ray beings are an ultra-sensitive, empathic soul group, like the indigos that came from many different ascended planets and light realms to enlighten the genetic code of humanity and raise God consciousness on Gaia. Now, what resonated with me on that was when I had my Akashic Records reading. She said that I was here to help heal the DNA in my bloodline. You know, and I kind of just sort of shrugged it off, took it like, you know, okay, whatever. But these are like the things that were ringing my bells, you know what I mean, throughout this whole process. So that was one of the things. Am I really truly here to heal my bloodline? I have no idea. I think we all do at some point, you know. But I'm definitely keeping my mind open to any possibility of anything. And, you know, honestly, to have an open mind and to really be able to soak things in that are far-fetched concepts in a past life is very freeing for me. It's very much, you know, and it's a lot of fun because I can, like, think of unlimited possibilities that could happen in my life. And nobody can tell me any different because it's what I believe and it's what I'm having fun with. And that's that. You know, that really is just that. So, anyway, we'll get back to it now. As a Blu-ray being, you came to transform the damaged, mutated DNA of humanity and set the stage for other rays to come. You were not recognized for your unique divine light and had to recognize yourself. It was a tricky spiritual business as you were super sensitive beings, though you had the spiritual power tools to be victorious in your mission. So this was another thing. We're considered ordinary, average, you know, Joes, like people don't recognize us as anything special. And a lot of times, since we're quieter and since we don't necessarily speak up like, say, a indigo would, that we tend to get underestimated a lot. And which I can see that totally. It's been the story of my life. For the last 100 years, the indigos, rainbows, crystals, and you, the Blu-rays, have been incarnating to create a vibrational shift to the higher dimensions. You, the Blu-ray beings, are the overlooked and forgotten ones, and have been essential in clearing and setting the stage for humanity's ascension. Because of you, Blu-ray beings, Earth will be able to take their rightful place in a galactic universal councils of oneness and peace. Now, Dolores Cannon talks about the earlier Starseeds, which didn't necessarily come here with the gifts and abilities of, say, the indigos, the rainbows, and the like. They were more just by being here, healing. Just by doing what they do, they were healing. Just by going to work every day, raising their family, and do whatever, they were still healing. And I think that's a lot about what this is talking about. A very overlooked and underrated starseed that is very important to the way this ascension is going to work. There is one YouTube channel that talks about the Blu-rays exclusively or extensively. Her name is Psychic Francesca. Franziska. And she talks about the Blu-rays. She has very, very good detailed information on it. She's one of the channels where I just started soaking it all in. So, back to it now. So as a Blu-ray, we come into this Earth into a very dysfunctional bloodline. We come into this Earth having to have hardships and live a life that most people really wouldn't want to sign up for, I think. But in that process is the process of healing, where we're able to have a spiritual awakening, or for lack of a better word, we'll just call it that, where sometime in your life you have this point where you get knocked on your ass, you know. And it happened to me at 47. I literally thought all I was going to do was just get back my love for playing music again. I had no idea that this was going to open up a whole world of like Alice in Wonderland type shit, you know? But it's great. I mean, it's very, very, very fun to live this life. It's a lot more fun to live this life than it was to live the life I was living before, you know? So part of our challenge was, you know, you're gonna go through some crap. And nobody's gonna recognize this in you. You have to recognize it in yourself. You know, if you listen to some tarot card readers or some psychics or some mystical type people, they always say, well, maybe not always, but they do say, you're a psychic, you're a spiritual healer, you're gonna be helping hundreds of thousands of people, blah, 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 blah. But with a Blu-ray, that is not the case. You have to find it within yourself, especially when nobody around you is going to give you that motivation or that validation, as a matter of fact. You just have to know. You just have to know that this is part of your deal, and you're going to have to get there one way or another. And I can tell you from personal experience, since I started this process, most people think I went cuckoo, you know? But I've never felt more sane in my life, to be honest with you. So that was the other thing, was, all right, well, I gotta figure this out for myself, you know? Nobody's gonna do it. Nobody's gonna give you the validation you need. I never considered myself a healer of sorts. Let's say, you know, the type of healer that, you know, you put your hands on them and heal them that way. Now, I can tell you that I've lived a life of a musician, and that is absolutely healing. 100%. I don't care if you're playing in a bar for 50 people that are drunk, or you're playing at a wedding or at a funeral. Music is healing. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. It doesn't matter if it's from a singing bowl. It doesn't matter if it's from a kazoo. Music is healing. And it also is a direct line to your guides. You want to talk to them? Sing to them. You want to talk to them? Think about a piece of music that you really love and enjoy. Talk to them. That's how you can do it. So fast and easy, without even thinking about it. Without even going into some crazy, rituals or anything like that. Just sing to them. It's that simple. And you're in the shower, sing. And you're going to feel 100 times better. But that's the only kind of healing I've ever known about, is that. But that is pretty special too, though, I would say. So here is part of the Blu-Ray mission. No matter how painful, long, or arduous the job was, it was your mission. You had the spiritual tools, the insight, and the divine light to see it through. Nobody else. Nobody's going to tell you this. You have to know it. Know it. Just know it. Some of the Blu-ray traits. Transformers using alchemy to naturally transmute lower energies. Average age range is between the late 30s to their 50s. They tend to be water or air signs: Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer, Gemini, Aquarius, and Libra, with Virgo influences. I'm a Pisces sun in the 4th house with a Scorpio rising. My North Node is Aquarius, and my Saturn is in Gemini, and my Venus is Taurus, but the house is cusp of Leo, Virgo. The average age range, late 30s to their 50s. I'm 49. Like, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, things just rang out so loud, and I'm not telling you this only to show you, like, how much it resonated with me. That's the only reason why I wanted to show it this way. They are like the indigos, rainbows, and crystals in the ways that they are ultra-sensitive, intuitive, and can easily communicate with higher realms. I have always communicated in the higher realms through my dreams. I've always had... I could read a room. The one thing about playing music when I was playing live a lot was that I could read a room like you wouldn't believe. I could turn the room around within a few minutes with just with song selection and different things like that. I've had people, literally pull me aside after the stage and just say, "Thank you, man. Thank you for the memory." Those are just special moments for me that I've just always kept to myself and I've never really explained. But I would say that's pretty sensitive, and that there's something bigger than me going on within that framework. Often mistaken for an indigo, very adaptable and empathic. Blues are more reserved and quieter than indigos. Now see, that one really resonates, because we don't put ourselves out front naturally. And a lot of times, indigo will really resonate with a Blu-ray because it's like their other half, right? Like, sometimes when an indigo can't hold back, they might get a little bit of inspiration from a Blu-ray, and the Blu-ray could always use that extra boost on, telling somebody how it is. Psychic Francesca talks a lot about this in her thing, and I don't want to take credit for that or anything, because she just does a wonderful job with it. They seem mystical in the way they look. Old souls may appear to be more ethereal looking or starborn. You're about communication and expression through creative arts and spirit. It is very important for you to express yourself. It's part of your mission. I mean, are you kidding me? Really? Like, this couldn't have drawn out better in my life if I even wanted it to, you know? I mean, everything about what I do and how I do it is creative. And when I wasn't, I was a walking bag of bones, miserable, hated life, and did not want to be here. Did not want to be here at all, you know? Now, as far as communication and expression through creative arts, obviously it's been music my whole life, but not like you would think, right? I've always been just fine as being a part of the band. I've always been just fine as being the sideman, the guy on the side that helps the singer look good, you know? Like, I don't need to be out front and have all the attention. I really don't care about that most of the time. You have blue in your aura. You also have violet to help with transmuting lower density. You work with Archangel Michael, Saint Germain, and the violet fire. Most are energy or spiritual healers as you wish to heal and help others. Yes, I could say that in a non-directional kind of way. That whenever I play music and it heals, it's a wonderful feeling. And doing it unconsciously makes it even a little more special because it's something I've been doing all my life and not realizing that that's what it was. You know what I mean? Like, I just did it because I love it. I did it because it felt good. So it's not just about others feeling good, but it helps me feel good too, you know? You are water types, flowing, emotional, not static, and associated with divine feminine traits. The archetype music, sound, movement, dance, and nature is very important to you. I would say that's 100% true. Now, I believe personally, being a musician, you are a little more in touch with a feminine trait. It doesn't mean girly or anything like that. It just means you're more receptive to receiving. That's how I see it. You're more receptive to receiving because I'm a doer. I can be in that masculine energy like you wouldn't believe. But there's a time when I'm playing my guitar and I'm not in that mode. I'm definitely got my antennas up and receiving, you know. You learned how to hide your supernatural abilities, gifts, and stood in the background waiting and watching and observing, and always in the knowing. Most of you were not born to enlightened consciousness spiritual parents. You had to heal and transform much family genetic damage, emotional trauma, and dysfunction first. You feel connected to the terms lightworker, starborn, Pleiades, Sirius, and the esoteric studies and the evolved races of Earth. Some of the challenges of the Blu-rays. They have escape tendencies. They have a tendency to want to be in other realms, being alone too much, and feeling lonely and different. Now that one I can tell you for a fact. You could ask anybody in my family that I spend most of my time in my room, by myself, engulfed in some kind of project or something to do. Addictions or addictive tendency in earlier years. Check on that one. Chronic fatigue from always transforming energies or leaving the body too often and too long. Learning disabilities. Difficulty and frustration in communicating. You were told you were different. You were just imagining things. Get real. You can have spiritual attachments. You are very adaptable and empathetic, and therefore can stay in dysfunctional relationships, situations, and environments too long. You have a need to maintain energetic boundaries and awareness and learn how to stay connected to the body. Now, those few things that I just mentioned to you is part of what I'm working on right now, actually. There's a lot of things that I think about that I still feel like might be a little, I don't know, maybe OCD type of thing, because there's certain things that still roll around that I've been working on and healing, and it just keeps wanting to come back, man. It just keeps wanting to come back, and it's just irritating. I have people that have treated me like complete shit throughout my whole life, but will not let me go. You know what I mean? Like, it's that weird thing. Well, now it's different. Now that I cut that shit off like you wouldn't believe. I ripped it off like a duct tape Band-Aid. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't playing that shit no more, you know? But in my earlier years, I was a lot more, I would take on a lot of stuff from a lot of people. And I would absorb their energy and absorb their pain and take it on as my own, you know? Just not knowing what the heck I was doing with it or what was going on. So yeah, that's what I mean. Like, all this stuff is so eye-opening, you know, for me personally. So yes, part of the Blu-ray mission is that we are supposed to be vocal about this. We're supposed to be talking about this. This is our job. This is our mission, is to get this out for people to understand or not understand what it is. It's just to get it out. And it's my time. It's my time to start the promotions, my time to start the journey of how do I get this out in a creative way to where people don't take it the wrong way. And I know that seems like a whole lot of analytical thinking in it, and which there is some, but there should be some, you know? I mean, I love everything about the intuition and feeling things and all that, but I also want to be successful. So you have to work both ends. You have to work both ends of that angle sometimes to get there. So what do you guys think about this stuff? You think it's just, you know, foo-foo and woo-woo and whatever else you want to call it? Leave a comment. If you think it's cool and you want to be part of it, leave a comment. Or find my email or whatever. I don't really care. Just feel free to reach out if you like. It's all good. I would love to hear from you. I really hope you guys found this entertaining and fun. I really had a great time talking about it. And I will be talking more about stuff like this too. You know, I really enjoy this sort of thing, and it's so much more fun to live your life with an open mind than it is to know it all and have everything take the magic away. You know, it's just more fun. This life is more fun now than I've ever had, and I feel way better about it. So thank you guys once again, and I really appreciate all the support and all the well wishes and the good comments and stuff throughout this whole process. And I just started a brand new YouTube channel to put this stuff on, because I think I was putting it on my music YouTube channel, but I think the algorithm was getting confused. So I'm just posting this as a podcast YouTube channel, and I'm going to do something different with the videos. I think I'm going to do something a little different with the video side of it and see what I can come up with something kind of cool with that too. So I got an idea anyway. We'll try it out, and if it don't work, then hey, you know what? It don't work. We'll try something different. Just keep plugging at her. Once again, thank you very much. I appreciate the time, and we will talk to you soon. Thank you.